Hey everybody, Scott Hogan coming at you here. We are here in Chicago. We just had the BMW Championship, was been out there all week. Want to share with you the most important thing that I picked up when I was out there at the tournament. All right, hey everybody, Scott Hogan coming at you here. Thanks so much for joining us again on this video. We are inside in my training center. It's a little rainy. If you were watching the end of the tournament at the BMW, you would have saw that. But we've been out at Medina the last few days, talking about the golf course and just seeing the golf course and seeing the best players in the world play. It's been awesome. And obviously a lot of really, really good golf being played as well on what I thought when I was out there looked like a tough golf course at 7,600 yards, but these guys are making it look really, really easy. And it was awesome because when you only have a small field like that, you're able to see some players and get really, really close actually. Even with Tiger, it wasn't, super crowded to a point where you had to go like 10 holes ahead and get really close. So got a really good vantage point to a lot of players and kind of saw some things that I think ran throughout the whole game that I saw everybody do. So we're going to talk about that one thing though that I think everybody that I saw does, and I think it's a really, really important trait with good players to be able to strike it well and actually do this in other parts of your game. So again, if you're not a subscriber, make sure you click that subscribe button. You're gonna catch some videos we have going pros and AMs. We had a lot of good feedback with our pros versus AMs series. We're gonna be on course strategy, talking about some other things, driving, all of those things. So make sure you click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of those. Let's get into it, all right? Let's talk about the one thing I saw players you have to be able to do, okay? And we've talked a little bit about this in the past, but it is a given. And being up close and personal with them, with the pros, you got to really see this. And that is how your trail arm works in your golf swing, okay? And mainly when you're hitting the ball, okay? So the one thing that we would see when these players would come into the ball, without fail, these players would have this trail arm bent and the lead arm would be straight. But mainly, again, that trail arm is the part that controls it. They get that bent. You get a really good feel for that. That's what they're doing when you're out there seeing them up close and personal. You see a lot of drills that are working on how that trail arm goes because that's going to affect what the lead arm does. So we want to work on getting that trail arm bent. Now, how are we going to do that? What's the ways that we're going to be able to strike a golf ball, get in here, and have that lead arm staying bent? Okay, well, what's the keys? Well, there's a couple. One that I see people struggle with is you actually have to allow for it to bend. So I see a lot of people bring the golf club back and they try to keep their arm straight, and this right arm stays straight way too long. That's not what we want to see happen. That's usually because they're thinking keeping their arm straight, especially the lead arm. They're like, oh, your left arm's got to be straight. That's not true. Again, when you see it in person, you actually see their lead arm is really relaxed. Now it's going to appear straight, okay? But that is because as I'm going back and turning back and letting this lead arm fold, and it stays pretty tucked in on my side here, right up against my side, that's going to get this lead arm to get a more of a straight out feel, especially if you're kind of pushing away with the right arm, okay, or the trail arm. You're going to get that feel of the lead arm being more out. So we want to see, as we go back, that trail arm, for me it's my right, get into the bent position. Allow it to fold up. You've heard things like, all right, hey, get a tray, like you're holding a tray. One I've heard is like you're starting a lawnmower, pulling back, whatever works for you. But if you can just work on a feel of, let's say you just use your right arm only, and you work on bringing the club back and just feeling it bend as your body starts to turn a little bit, you're going to be in a pretty good spot to come back in and have it staying bent because you've got it bent. What happens to a lot of people if you're trying to keep it straight, now you've got to try to bend it mid-swing like everybody thinks like a Sergio type feel, right? They try to bend it and then get it down there. The problem is you've got to get a lot of things coordinated. You have to have the right wrist angles. You have to time out the body rotation perfectly if you're going to do that. So those are some interesting, you're just adding moves to an already complicated thing in the golf swing, whereas again, a lot of guys saw, you know, Billy Horschel up close, Tiger up close, and saw him from, you know, this back angle. You just see that elbow come right into the side, and they just turn their body away. There they go. The arms are nice and relaxed, and they get that look on camera, but they're ready to roll and hit the ball. So that's the first thing. If you're going to get this ideal impact position of right here, well, we got to go back and let that arm bend if it's going to get bent at impact. Now, the second thing we got to add is we have to start creating space in the golf swing. So this is a two-part proposition. We have to create space so this right arm can come in here and remain bent. Again, I saw all the guys that I took videos of, all the guys I saw chipping, even chipping and putting, they do this to an extent. You gotta get that trail arm bent. You have to have enough room to do it. The reason why a lot of people struggle with getting this club to come down and having that impact position is typically they're straightening their arm, and a lot of times it's because they haven't created space to hit the ball, so they gotta kind of straighten out to get the club to get back into the ball. That's how they're going to get the club to the ball. We don't want that to happen. We want to maintain a lot of room, so if we want that arm to come in bent, we're going to be in good shape. So the two parts to this are going to be backswing, through swing. So on my backswing, as I bend this arm, I don't just want to bend my arms and just bring it up. I want to bend it and pivot my body. I'm going to get some turn in here. That's going to do a couple of things. One, again, I'm going to start creating some space from me to the ball. It's also going to get my body into an extension position, which if you watched our 3 things for early extension video, you'd know that's a good thing, okay? But as this arm folds, you've got to create some space with this, especially this trail hip and your trail side, so that you actually have room to return back through as you go through and have some room for this arm to be bent, come through staying bent, and then be able to work its way through, okay? So creating some space on your backswing, that is a key, okay? Not sliding back, you are pivoting away from the ball. You're pushing yourself away from the ball. That's gonna create some pivot. That's gonna get you a lot of room to come back to the ball. Now, the last part then is, on your through swing, we need to then create space going through the ball. This is where if you look at a pressure mat or a pressure trace, you're always going to kind of see, for majority of good ball strikers, you're going to see them shift into their front foot, and you're going to see them pushing away from the ball. It's almost like they're working the pressure into their heel. You're going to see that because, again, the point is I've got to have some room to get this arm in here bent. And if I do that, now I've got room to keep going all the way through. I'm actually going to create that nice impact position. There we go. And I'm going to be able to strike the ball really solidly. If you can do this at a very, very slow pace, if I just took it, arm bent, I'm going to go back, again, create some space away, space through, okay? Just nice and easy, just something like that. You're gonna really feel how it is to work your body through. I think the other thing you're gonna realize is it can be pretty effortless to hit a golf ball. You can be really, really nice feel, because I saw these guys just hitting shots and just punching through it, so much speed through the hit. Yeah, their body would finish and turn through, but that's because they're creating so much space and they're using so much force to do that. It basically just whips them through on a finish. They are able to strike it so pure all the time, even if it is a little bit offline. So again, that big key I saw was they get this right arm coming in bent, just like that, and they do it by creating space as they go through. to hit the ball, and they're able to strike it so pure. They actually strike it very low compared to what you would think, and get the very consistent flight with their wedges. A beautiful range out there at Medina. One of the coolest parts is a lot of the range is off to the side, so you get to see kind of the side profile view of the shots, and every shot is off at a consistent trajectory. Ball takes off so low, rises up to its apex. It's really a cool sight to see there. So again, spent a lot of time. We're going to talk about a couple other things I saw out there at Medina that players really do, but it's going to revolve a lot about how this trail arm works. I've had a lot of respect for the trail arm. I have even more for it now as I watched and got to see a lot of different shots, a lot of really great angles, great viewing experience out there at Medina. And so something I want to share with you is what I saw. So that first one again is how that trail arm works and some ideas that you want to be thinking about in your swing. So again, got to let the swing bend, the arm bend, and you've got to be creating space. If you build your backswing around the idea that I have to be able to get back to the ball to this position, I think you're going to start seeing that I can build a pretty good backswing. And then if you start building your through swing with the idea that I have to allow myself to have that arm bent as I'm hitting the shot, you're going to start seeing how you create space, how your body starts to rotate and open up. Those things will start to happen because you understand the really pro impact position that we saw. So hopefully this starts to help you build your swing, start getting your game in shape. Again, we're gonna have more pros versus AMs, and as we head towards the winter, we'll be talking about building your swing more, so we'll talk about this stuff. But that's what I saw out there at Medina. Wanted to share it with you. And again, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. That really does help. And if you want to leave us a comment, some stuff, what did I see? What did I think of the course? All that, I'd be happy to talk about it in the future videos. So thanks again. We will see you in the next video.